Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Friday, January 12th, wrapping up the second week of the month. And just want to say slight apologies to everybody for a bit of the delay today. Had a call come in, but let's go ahead and get started. So I don't know why we're looking at DXY to start, but let's go ahead and make sure that we are looking at the TTC dashboard. Of course, having a bit further of a pullback day. Some coins are up, Didex, Zen. We actually put Didex in the TTC email today. I think TIA is up as well, but definitely a very mixed bag following the ETF announcement. Bitcoin is down, ETH is mostly flat. ETH sentiment looking better than Bitcoin sentiment. Been a while since we've seen that. Tweet volume's up, trading volume down from yesterday, but still above that 70 bill number we've been hanging around, and average daily sentiment has dipped. Stablecoin exchange flows definitely looking a little more bearish in recent times, seen some money pulled off after kind of a flat day prior to 11 a.m. ET, but nothing too crazy. In my opinion, Bitcoin sentiment has pulled back a lot. We did talk about that curl down yesterday and about what happens when it tags that 90 level. So it has pulled back. Bitcoin price did pull back. So we talked about that yesterday. ETH sentiment definitely dripping as well. We did talk that it was, I had a bit better hopes for ETH, but I mean, if we just quickly look at the chart, Bitcoin well down from that spike yesterday around 10, and ETH is actually got above that spike from yesterday. So ETH still mostly flat. So again, didn't tag that 90 level. It has decreased though, but price has been mostly flat. So we definitely want to, we'll talk about ETH in a while, but definitely want to see that 25.65 level held. So let's move over to DXY. Literally nothing has changed. PPI did not affect it at all today. So not going to spend too much time on this. We know our levels. It needs to get above either this high or this low to really have any impact. And until then, we're just going to wait patiently. Equities have not done much either, mostly around the same price as when we spoke yesterday. We had that, remember, we had that bounce at the 1 hour estimated trader moving average and the VWAP, and now we're just kind of sitting in the upper half of this range. I did say sitting in the upper half of this range is the best case in terms of a flat scenario yesterday. So definitely glad to not see it dripping back down and forming some higher lows. But we did sweep this high area and then got shot back down. So we still want to see that continued movement up. If you can get above 47.95, make it up to 48.20. I'm just considering this as kind of the range. No point in really kind of trading this range. Only worth trading a break out of the range, in my opinion. So if we break below 47.48, probably end up tagging 47.30, break below 47.30, going to head down to 46.93. Don't expect too much to happen by the end of today's session into Monday. So I have a feeling we'll probably just sit in this range, maybe try and, inch our way up higher, but not expecting to break above or below the mid-range right now. Looking at Bitcoin, definitely, precarious. So we obviously did tag these lower level targets today. The good news is we're kind of wicking. We got, triple set of wicks just underneath this support level at 43.8. So if we can get back above 43.8, not a bad long opportunity because your risk is pretty well defined here. It's long position. So if you're trading this back up, probably maybe at least to the weekly VWAP. And then, so you're risking 1% for 5%. So not the worst long opportunity in the world. I did say yesterday, not the worst long opportunity in the world either, but it wasn't the best either. This, I have a feeling we could probably see something like this where we make it back up and then maybe just kind of chop down a little bit lower. But, Bitcoin doesn't look horrible in my opinion, but it will look horrible if we break below 42K. So not a bad long position, but definitely very sketchy. And if we can somehow get it back above the weekly VWAP and the previous daily close, basically between 46 and 46.3, if you can get back above there, then you can make it back above or back up to these local highs. So definitely a long road, but let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit to check out just kind of where Bitcoin's sitting. So the reason that I think 42K is a really big deal is you start, so let's kind of just draw a line here at 42K to get some context. So remember, we're talking about market structure a lot. So we got all these higher lows. Certainly this is a place where I really want to see a stand, because a 4-hour estimated 200 moving average is obviously that's where it bounced just now, as well as the fact that this is the previous low that is significant heading into hopefully the next low. And it is the low of the week as well, because this is what happened after the weekly close. So this is literally the low of the week. It's also the Monday low. So it's a very significant level. And I'm actually just going to draw a line there too, because I track the Monday range, but this was a weird week, so I kind of ignored it. But now I think it's significant. So now you can see the context of why we really want to hold 43.1, 43.2. Now, if we drop lower, it's not the worst thing in the world, because you can still make a macro higher low at that 42K level. But if you start to drip lower and get beneath both of these, then you really, really start to kind of get, edge towards the fact of making a lower low. And a lower low is definitely not what we want to see, because that could definitely be, it's likely going to signal a market structure shift. So we really want to hold 42K. Obviously, we still have, about, $1,800 worth of price to kind of hold, but it is getting precarious. So this is the time to really watch. If you didn't take any profits, up here, then I would definitely be monitoring this $1,800 level down to 42K, because if it does break, the last line in the sand is 40K, and things are going to get very sketchy around here. So no reason to really start selling in mass yet. If you did take profits, we talked about that earlier, in the week, and Bitcoin really hasn't changed, didn't really go too much higher when we were talking about profit taking. So not the worst idea in the world, but right now market structure is still intact, although beneath 43.1K, 42K big line in the sand, beneath 42K, 40K big line in the sand. So again, not a bad long opportunity here as it stands right now. Your risk is well defined. You just tag the Monday low, and you have a good chance to move higher. But again, if this trade fails, it's gonna get a lot more sketchy. So a good opportunity on Bitcoin, but definitely one worth closely monitoring. Looking at ETH, as we can see, ETH BTC did continue to move higher, so very, very good. We talked about this downtrend, remember, yesterday, so we made it above the downtrend. Now we have to hold the downtrend, or no, we have to hold above the downtrend is what I meant to say. So we basically need to hold 058. 058 is very critical. We can obviously kind of just crab down here as well. Like if we did basically, if price did something like this but held above the trend, that's not that bad, because then we still have a really big precipice to move higher if we bounce on previous support, right? So we can even dip in here as long as we make it back up. So it's definitely going to look a little sketchy, I have a feeling, maybe over the next couple of days or weeks. But as long as we stay above either 0.058 or stay above this downtrend, and with kind of 055 as the last kind of line in the sand, we can launch anywhere off of this and continue up to 6 cents or higher, which 6 cents was obviously the resistance. So I do still like this trade. Nothing has really changed for me, but this is, again, kind of with Bitcoin kind of faltering a little bit, great time to monitor, great time to be aware of your surroundings, and hope and trade that ETH BTC is gonna stay above that trend. So when we look at ETH, trading not too confusing. If we can get above, obviously, this high, we should be able to make our way up to about 3 grand. Support is, and I guess I might as well just draw the support level. Support is sitting right here about 25.65. If you break below 25.65, you're probably going to drop back to 24.40. Drop below 24.40, you're going to drop back to 23.60. So this is, the very simplistic trading here. Above resistance should make a new high. Below support should run back to the previous support level. And that's exactly where you're looking at it. But I will say, sketchy part about this, ran the high, ran the low, but we did run the low pretty well. So this does look like a sweep in my opinion. So if you are also zealous and think that the Bitcoin trade is going to be good, then I've got a trade for you on ETH as well. Traded up to at least the local highs, 4% for a risk of 1.5%. And then obviously if you get above the high, your take could be potentially anywhere from 10 to 15%. So not the worst long in the world. And you've got a tight stop, very well-defined risk. I may actually take this trade when I get off this video, because it's just an extremely well-defined risk, right? You know if it breaks below this level, it's going to drop lower. You know if it breaks above that high, that higher level, it's going to drop higher. We got the sweep. You've got nice lot of room, and I do think it looks good. So, but again, it's not a shoe-in because the price action looks weird. Kind of got this little ugly double top here, but we did have this sweep following this sweep. So definitely more likely to go up than down, at least in the immediate term. So that's why it's always good to define where you want your exits to be. Do you want to risk all the way up to 3K? Do you want to risk, just a small kind of dinner money, lunch money, or vacation money, whatever size you're trading? So, up to you, but not the worst long in the world, because again, risk is very defined. If you break below here, probably going to end up heading lower. So I did tell the TTC community, I do think we have a good chance to head higher this week. The best case scenario, just in general, is Bitcoin holds above 40K. And the worst kind of price action we get is something like this, where we're just kind of consolidating. Maybe we have a quick dip down here. We make it up quickly, and then we just kind of just sit here in range, very similar to that thesis with equities. And then in that scenario, hopefully Ethereum is kind of, doing what Bitcoin did before, which is maybe a little bit of consolidation, but kind of upward chop, right? At worst, we want to see ETH kind of just grinding higher. It can obviously have some explosive price action, but we want to see that grind higher that we really saw on Bitcoin before. That's kind of the trade that we're thinking. I've got a lot of spots in ETH based assets. And so hoping for that to continue. That is the ideal market structure for this kind of trade. So with that being said, good luck, happy trading. See everybody on Monday.